Good morning. This meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors is now called to order, and we'll begin with closed session. County Council, are there any additions to the agenda this morning?
No, Mr. Chairman, no additions.
Okay. County Council, would you read in closed session to the record, please?
Yes, Chairman and members of the board, you have 5 items for today's closed session. 2 of them are under conference with labor negotiators. Your agency designated representatives are Michelle May and Darren McCandless. That's under Government Code Section 54957.6. The employee organization is all units and also an unrepresented employee. The position is the Director of Community and Economic Development. There are also 2 public employee employment matters under Government Code Section 54957. There's 2 positions, the Chief of Development Services and your County Librarian. And the last item is exposure, anticipated litigation, significant exposure under Government Code Section 54956.9, and there's 1 case. Thank you.
Thank you, County Council. Is there any public comment on these items? If not, I'll bring it back to the board and we'll retire to closed session. Thank you. Thanks, man. Thank you.
We're unified all the time.
Thank you. I'm having fun with it.
Hey, that's what makes it better. Have some fun, you know?
It's a lot of work that lasts for a year. Okay, good morning. We are back from closed session. County Council, is there anything to report from closed session?
Chairman, there are no reportable actions from closed session. However, I have two announcements. One is that the closed sessions are not done, so if the chair desires, the board can retire back into closed session to finish the agenda items, and then also to the members of the public who are here for in-home social services negotiations. That item is on the agenda for next week. However, of course, during public comment, you're free to make any comments you want. I just wanted to clarify that it's on for the board to consider at next Tuesday's board meeting.
Thank you, County Council. We're going to open and close this morning in memory of Sandra Hopkins, a very good friend of mine, lived in District 2 and attended church with her for years. Rob, also very familiar with Sandra. Sandra and Chip Hopkins. Chip Hopkins was an employee of this county at the juvenile hall facility for 30 years. And he passed away last year, about the first of the year, I believe it was. I was in Idaho at the time, and I remember receiving the word. And so a year later, Sandra, who had battled cancer, finally succumbed to that fight. She's at home now with Chip, and they're enjoying a better life. And we certainly love them. We will always we'll always remember their goodness to this community and their love for people. They spent much of their life counseling others about marriage and family and many other things that are so good to give your life to. People are important, and they knew that, and they showed it. They didn't just say it, they demonstrated it in their life. You have something you want to say?
No, I think you said it all.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
So hard to say goodbye to good people like that, but it's part of life as well. So thank you for your indulgence this morning. That's a difficult thing to talk about. This morning,
I think Tom had a couple.
Tom, go ahead. I'm
I got
sorry.
a couple too. The first one is, we always called him Sugar Pine, Emmanuel Jefferson. He was a Mono tribal member up there, and he was great. He worked on almost all of our dam, from Oroville down to Mammoth Pool Dam in his days, and he was a logger, and he always played a guitar. Any kind of events be going on up there, he would be sitting there just strumming his guitar and singing. And but he was probably about 6'2", about 220 pounds, and any place you went up at any of the bars up north or anything where they're building a dam, everybody knew Sugar Pine, because he didn't have no teeth left in the front because he got in fights all the time. But he didn't lose any, I don't think. He maybe lost some teeth, but what a great guy he was. Always the biggest smile that you could ever see. And he passed away a couple of weeks ago now. And then the other one was a Table Mountain tribal member, Cy Burrows. His dad and I went to high school together, and his aunt. And we played a lot of basketball together, and he passed away last week. So a couple of good guys, especially Emmanuel. He was super. He's like the one you were talking about.
I had a couple other very tragic young people. I wasn't here the last meeting, so I don't know if any of them were mentioned, but Adrian Sever was a close friend and mother of two girls that go to school with my son. She passed away a couple weeks ago. Wasn't feeling well, went to sleep and didn't wake up. Just very, very sad for the whole Rancho's community. She was always there to help out and pick up other kids and with her kids, and we get calls, oh, can I take Wyatt home? We're going to do the Lego Imaginarium things, and just a wonderful person. My heart goes out to her 2 little girls and her family. And then a friend of mine from high school, Sam Balbus, who, you know, everyone knew the Balbuses and different family members here in Madera. And, you know, I remember seeing his sons at high school, and just, they would come up and just were the most gracious, respectful kids. And so my heart goes out to those 2 boys, and Shanna, his wife. He was killed in a car accident on 152. So just very sad, you know, to lose those people. So I'd like to open and close in their memories as well.
Yes. Well, we certainly have a lot of bereavement in our county. So as we approach the invocation, I'll ask Pastor Roger Leach to come forward from Valley West Christian Center, and we'll remember them and the families in our prayers, please. Let's
Yes,
stand together.
just to just kind of piggyback on some of the things that you've said. These people within our county, they're so very vitally important, touching the lives and intertwining the lives of all of us together. Sandra and her husband were so very vital in Celebrate Recovery, doing a lot of things within our community with a lot of churches, and also helping out with Nightlight out at the fairgrounds, and working there for years and years, and touching really literally thousands and thousands of people of Madera County. All of these people they're part of our heart, and so we remember them today.
Thank you, Roger.
There's a scripture that is found in Psalms chapter 143, verse number 8, and it says this: "Cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning, for on you do I lean, and in you do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my inner self to you." And so this morning we can do that. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, this morning, that as we ask your blessing upon the Board of Supervisors meeting for Madera County, Lord, I pray that you give each and every one of the supervisors wisdom and their staff. Lord, I pray that you continue to guide and direct this great county. Lord, I pray that as we, again, learn to love one another and to share one another's burdens, to uplift one another and come together. Lord, I thank you that we unite together for a greater need and a greater cause. And Lord, I thank you that together we work and we can see great things done for this county. Our future just lies ahead, and it's a wide open light that we again see. And Lord, I thank you this morning that as we pray for our county, we ask your blessings. We pray for literally healing of wounded hearts and sorrows. Lord, we also pray for healing of many people that have flus and colds. Lord, we thank you that you give us strength. And Lord, we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Remain standing. Gary Sponda, would you, our worthy assessor, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Little reflection this morning. Last meeting that we had, I talked about an engine and how that the various parts of the engine work to propel a car forward. And if something isn't working right, they work against each other, the parts work against each other, and the engine doesn't accomplish what it wants to do, and that's move the car forward efficiently. And liken that to our county, working together is very important. But I want to elaborate a little bit more this morning on the theory behind an engine, and that is that every part of the engine is important. Some parts are invisible. You don't see them. You don't see how they work. Some parts are less glamorous than others in function. The oil, as an example, lubricates and helps other parts. It helps the bearings, it helps the pistons. You don't see the oil. And you don't really see the bearings and the pistons, but you hear them going. And it helps the moving parts that make that big bang that propels the shiny chassis that you see forward. And everybody sees that chassis. That's what makes cars glamorous. They're shiny and beautiful, and that goes down the road. And that chassis gets all the glory for what the lubricant does to help those various parts move that car forward. Everyone is important. Without that lubrication in the engine, the car stops very abruptly. It won't go 1 foot forward at that point. Everyone is important, seen or unseen. And I want every member of this county to know you're a person that we value. You're a person with attributes and a value that beyond what you do. We as the Board of Supervisors, we value the people who serve the people we value. Remember that phrase. I'll say it one more time so we can get it ingrained in our minds. We as the Board of Supervisors value the people who serve the people we value. Think about that. Thank you for your attention. Next item on the agenda is public comment.
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Okay. Come forward if you have any public comment. Don't be bashful.
There's a hand mic there. If she wants to sit down, she can use the hand mic.
And good morning to all of you. To start off, I am here representing my union, the people that are my people that help me stay in my own home.
Can you give us your name, please?
Linda Dutson,
Thank you, Linda.
and they work awfully hard. Right now, these are my 2 workers. I have her as first, and she fills in when she can't. So there's a lot of stuff that means stuff to us. I stay out of like the hospitals and stuff because I have these people to help me with the cleaning and the stuff the dust I can't breathe because I have COPD. And they've been an absolute blessing. They're always there when I need them. And that's a great sense of security, and they always do a good job with what they're doing. And they're asking for a raise. I was here last year to speak for them. I am here again, asking if you can see fit to give them the raise they are asking for, because they really, really deserve it. They work hard to help take care of us, run us to doctors, everything else. And I'd like them to be able to stay in place. They've got people that are leaving to go work elsewhere because they're not getting this raise. They want more, they want better benefits, everything else. And I think these people, I think pretty much everybody that's here. And so, like I said, I'm here to represent them, to also be their voice, because I didn't have these people. I don't know what I'd do. I may even, because this COPD does nothing but get worse. So I could end up in a rest home, someplace like that, and I'd rather be able to stay in my own home with things that surround me, that remind me of family, different friends from over the years, and, be able to stay there instead of have to spend 2 or 3 days in the hospital, maybe. And they, like I said, they work in tandem. If one of them can't, the other one is there. So I always know there's someone I can reach out and I can call and say, I need help with this. Can you help me? This lady came over one night to come pull my britches up after I cracked 3 ribs.
Wow.
She was there, is what I'm saying. And if she hadn't been there, there was nobody for me to turn to. So we called the paramedics, and sure enough, I had fractured 3 ribs. Now, that's going above and beyond right there. And there are a lot of these workers that are like that are really solid there for their people. And they do very much deserve this raise. Absolutely. And I hope you see fit to grant them that raise, because I will be here every time I need to be here. So a voice from somebody that gets the benefits of it. So I'm going to keep it a little short here, so there's other people that want to speak. So thank you for the listening ear and the listening heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next person, next speaker.
You can't set her on the arm, she's got to sit on the seat.
Good morning. Let's move that a little bit. My name's Elva Counts. I'm an in-home supportive service worker. I stand by my union, but I have something a little different to talk about today pertaining to my clients. Let's see, I work for 2 clients that are not my family members, which they're kind of like my family at this point. It's been 2 years. The thing that I want to talk about is there's a share of costs that's happening with a lot of different elderly people. And it happens mostly with people that either work part-time and receive social services or Social Security, or married couples that jointly receive Social Security. What happens is Social Security federally gives a increase each year to counteract the cost of living. And statewide, Medi-Cal doesn't, sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
Statewide, Medi-Cal doesn't communicate with Social Security. So what happens is that the increase in their Social Security puts them over the bracket for Medi-Cal, and they develop a share of costs. My clients this year were over by $142 between the both of them for their case. So it doesn't seem like that big of a deal because it's $142, right? Unfortunately, the share of cost to Medi-Cal is $941 per month for people on Social Security. What happens when that happens is my paycheck, I work for them, Medi-Cal takes all of my paycheck, whatever is not taken from my paycheck and is left over of that $941, they will take directly out of their Social Security. My clients have been married for 35 years. They're considering getting a divorce, even though they're happily married, because it would solve the problem, because their income wouldn't be combined at that point. I think that's a shame. It's terrible. They're at the risk of becoming homeless at this point, which I'm trying everything I can do to prevent that. The woman has multiple sclerosis. My male client has multiple myeloma, which is a incurable blood cancer. And to think of them being on the street just crushes my heart. The bigger concern I have is they have me to advocate for them lots of elderly people don't have somebody like me or a family member to jump through the hoops to get this problem solved. Also, to solve the problem, it costs money, because in order to solve the share of costs, you must throw money at a secondary medical insurance to counteract that. Which, with me losing my paycheck and them losing part of their Social Security, we're lucky that we are not homeless. So it just seems like a really simple solution to a huge problem for federal and state government to communicate with each other and kind of balance themselves out so that this isn't happening to, I mean, thousands of elderly people. It would be a really easy way to start addressing the homeless population, which the numbers of war veterans and senior citizens that are homeless right now are astounding. It just seems like such a simple thing. All right, I think that's it.
I hope you'll share your story with the legislators.
I
really
would
do.
love to.
Yeah, you need to write that into a letter
Yeah, I'm
form.
actually in the process of writing to the Senate, which my father is
Thank
helping.
you. Good, good.
So,
That's
thank you guys
important.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your time.
You might suggest they watch the clock.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I'm being lenient on the time, but 3 minutes is a lot, and we have a lot of business to get to, so I appreciate your response to that. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Maria Elena Diaz. Hello, Mr. Poitras. I don't know if you remember me. I used to work at Cedar Creek Retirement Place. I took care of your father-in-law, Larry. Now I'm an IHS provider. I take care of my dad, who is an IHSS client. If it won't be for this program, he won't be enjoying himself at home with family. I feel the money we're asking you, it's not much. So we're asking for what's fair. So along with that, if you can please sign for us the contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person?
Buenos días, mi nombre es
Pull it
Héctor,
down a little bit if you want.
Héctor Almazán y es mi esposa.
Yo fui o soy proveedora del programa. Lamentablemente, el día 8 perdí a mi hijo, Alani Almazán. Alani
Alan
Almazán.
Almazar is their son. And on...
What's their names, please?
Su nombre. Diga su nombre.
Teresa Santos y Héctor Almazán.
Thank you.
Héctor Almazán y Teresa Santos.
Thank you.
¿Y cuál fue la fecha?
El día 8 de enero perdimos a nuestro hijo.
On January 8th, they lost their son.
Mi hijo tenía la condición de leucodistrofia muscular.
Her son had a, I can't pronounce the diagnosis, but it was a muscular diagnosis, disease.
Y requería de mucho apoyo, mucho cuidado. Y la razón que estamos aquí es porque detrás de nosotros hay más personas que tal vez no puedan trabajar como yo. Yo no podía salir a trabajar otro ingreso. Y lo importante que es el ingreso que nos daba para sostener a nuestro hijo.
So the reason why I'm here is because even though we lost our son, there are still other providers just like us who have to provide care for individuals, family members, that there is nobody else who can provide the care for them, which is ongoing and constant.
Que nos apoyen o que sigan apoyando a familias que sí necesitan de ese ingreso.
So what we're asking for is for you to please support families who depend on the income received by providing care because they cannot take other work.
Yo estuve cuidando a mi hijo por 8 años y era las 24 horas del día.
I cared for my son for 8 years, 24 hours a day.
Y pues ya no está conmigo, pero hay familias que sí necesitan ese apoyo.
My son might no longer be with me anymore, but there are families who continue to and depend on the support.
Igual cabe mencionar que, al igual así como nosotros proveemos el cuidado, hay más personas que también nos ayudaron mucho. De ese lado, queremos el apoyo de ustedes.
Just like, we depend on this program, but we didn't do it alone. We also, as a family, depended on other individuals who supported us. And just like other individuals supported us, we are asking you to continue to provide that support needed for these families.
Y queremos darle las gracias por tomarse el espacio y escuchar nuestras historias, y pienso que no tenemos nada más que agregar.
And we just want to say thank you for the time and the space to hear our stories.
What was their son's name again?
¿Cómo se llamaba su hijo?
Alani.
Alani?
Ajá.
Alani
Almazán.
Almazán.
Thank you. Our hearts go out to you, sympathy toward you for your loss.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Mendoza, and I'm here, first of all, to thank God. I like that what we have there, in God we trust, because I do trust in God. And I know He's the one that blesses with every blessing, and I consider myself very blessed. First of
Give us
all,
your name, please.
I said Elizabeth Mendoza.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Elizabeth Mendoza. And I'm here to support and say that we need your help. We need your help. Because the same way they were saying in their testimony, I can say it's a testimony, I have a daughter that got sick when she was 7 months old, close to 7 months old. Before that, she was normal. She was born normal. And she's 41 right now. And I know she's still here because she's with me. She can't communicate at all. Her brain got damaged to the point that she's like a vegetable. If I don't move her, she won't move. If I don't feed her, she won't get. She's totally dependent on somebody. And I know since she can't communicate, I don't imagine her in any hospital, even when she's in the hospital, because lately she has been going more often to the hospital. I stay with her, although I know they won't pay me through in-home support services. According to them, belongs to the hospital. But she can communicate, and I know her very well. Any sound she'll make, I know what she's going on. So I won't move. I'm there in the hospital 24/7. And of course, if I'm home with her, it's more comfortable being home. There is nothing better than being home, you know that. Even if you travel and have a nice hotel, you're expecting to go back to your home, am I right? So I don't imagine my daughter in a convalescence or any other facility because I know her. And then is when I really appreciate, first of all, you guys listening to us, and just to let you know that any increase you guys help us to get, it helps. Because I can't go to work. I need to be there with her. And I've been thinking, even if God takes her, if I still have help, this is what I will do, take care of somebody else, because I have the heart to do it. But we do need a salary to survive. You know, everything went up. Everything is getting so expensive. And I was just asking a raise, and you guys consider that it's not easy to stay there with, if it's a relative or if you're helping somebody else, you need to have the heart to do it, the love to do it. And I know there is no pay for that. I mean, I do it because I will do it anyway, with or without pay. But when you go to somebody else, to take care of somebody else that is not related to you, that person needs us or needs somebody to do it for them, like this lady here and many other situations that we know. And maybe right now we have the help to do something else, but they don't anymore. So they need our help. And everyone in the different ways, according to the position we can help. And I really love what you were saying. You're for the people that help people. We are those people helping the people. You are also those people helping us to help them. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the time you guys taking for us.
Thank you for your
God
comments.
bless you.
Next person.
Good morning, Supervisor Zira Madera. My name is Francisco Venegas. I'm an in-home care provider since 2011. I take care of my grandpa. His name is Felipe Moreno. He's 87 years old. And like we are all here for a raise. We work hard, and it's hard to make a living or what we get paid. I also have another job. I work for the Sierra Madera. I work for Parks and Recreations. I barely started on April 15, and we're just here to you guys to help us. For us, it's hard to sometimes I have to miss work just to take my grandpa to his doctors. And for me also, I had a medical issue. I had 2 kidney transplants in the past, and I mean it's hard, like I said, for us to make a living of what we're getting paid. And well, like all of us, we need your help. You guys can help us. And well, I really appreciate for you guys for your time, for listening us to all of my coworkers. They're considered my family now. I've been with them for the past 2 months barely. And well, I'm just here for you guys to support us and keep us with our members, helping each other. And well, thank you for your time. I'm kind of nervous. It's my first time talking.
Did you sign your name?
No, it's my first time here with the union. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker.
Buenos días, gracias por escucharme. Mi nombre es Joaquín López.
Good morning. Hello. Oh. Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Joaquín López.
Yo cuido a mi mamá, sufre de Alzheimer's. Ella no ha sido fácil día con día tener una lucha a día con día.
I care for my mom, and she suffers from Alzheimer's. It has not been an easy day-to-day living.
Es día con día continuación el progreso que ella tiene de la memoria. El miércoles de la semana pasada ella quiso tomarse un Cloralex, entonces necesita más cuidado. Es poco tiempo el que tengo para sobresalir adelante junto con ella.
So it's hard taking care of somebody in a condition like my mom's. Her condition is continuously progressing. The Alzheimer's continues to progress. So an example of it is that last week she grabbed a bottle of Clorox and tried to drink it.
Wow.
Sí, por eso venimos a pedirles apoyo. Muchas gracias.
And it's because of this kind of care that we're required that we are asking for your ongoing support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, supervisors and community members. My name is Yesenia Cuevas. I am a union representative for UDW, the Home Care Providers Union. We represent 1,821 IHSS workers in this county. We provide home-based care for seniors and people with disabilities. Like you, my union and our members serve this county. I am here to remind you how important it is that you support IHSS providers so they can continue to do the work that gives so much back to our communities. Madera County has not had a contract for IHSS providers for 5 years now. 5 years. This is not only disrespectful to our workers, and dangerous to the people who rely on a workforce of high-quality providers. It just doesn't make sense economically. If Madera County were to agree to a 75 cents above minimum wage supplement, the county's share of costs would be only 16.5%. So of the total cost, $1,255,485, Madera County would only be responsible for paying $207,155, which is 16.5%. The remaining $1,048,330 would come from the state and federal government. Let me repeat that. For an investment of $207,155 by Madera County, the state and federal government will add $1,048,330. That money that will be spent in local businesses, adding much needed growth to our local economy. Not only that, but after contributing the $207,155 for 2 years, Madera County will get that small investment back through the state realignment fund. This is a win-win proposition for the county, for the constituents, for the community, and our economy. I am leaving a copy of these for your review. I do hope that you will consider and that you will acknowledge our request. We thank you so much for your time, but we do need a contract. I hope we do get this contract very soon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You go ahead and give it to the county. Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Board of Supervisors, Sarah Boss, Public Health Director. I'm here this morning with one of our nurse interns, Mong Lor, to kind of honor him and his service to our department as he departs to be a part of our military. So as you may know, in October of 2018, we put in place, or actually resurrected, an old nurse intern program, working in collaboration with Fresno State. And since that time, we've had 4 nurse interns, and we're working on onboarding another one in March. 2 of those have stayed on and become public health nurses. They're actually taking their board exams in March and will stay on as public health nurses with the department.
Good.
And then 2 others have gotten some great experience and have moved on to other things, one of them being Mong. So in mid-February, actually this week, right, he is joining the Army as a 2nd lieutenant. His first 3 months will be in Texas for orientation, and then he's going to be stationed in Maryland as a nurse and plans to serve for 5 years as a nurse, and then at that point decide whether or not he's going to make the military his long-term career or move on to something else. And so I'm going to have him share a little bit about what he's going to do in Maryland.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mong, and I'm one of the nurse interns at Madera. I currently serve in the lead program as well. I will soon later go to Texas and train and pursue my nursing career in Maryland at Walter Reed Community Hospital. And there I will be just serving as a nurse for 5 years and later probably pursue my higher education in my PhD and possibly see what comes after that.
Come back to us.
Come on back to Madera County.
Yes, that's what everyone's saying, yes.
And so that would be the Army then?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct, the Army.
Yeah. And I think everyone in this room should give this young man a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very honorable thing that you're doing, and we're proud of you. You have the support of Madera County behind you. And know that when as you're away, you'll always have a home here, and we wait for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
And Sarah vouched for you, right?
Done an excellent job.
Yeah.
Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
I would also like to add to the opening and closing this meeting in the memory of Alani Almasar.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that, bringing that forward, because I was thinking the same thing, and my hearing is not so good, so I didn't want to mispronounce the name. But that is very appreciated. Very, very well done. So he will be memorialized, so they know he'll be memorialized in the record of Madera County as being honored in the opening and closing of this meeting. So. Tribute to the sacrifice of a mom and dad.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll move to the consent calendar. Any items to be discussed there? Supervisor Wheeler.
Automatic, huh? Actually, it was really good this time. I just had to say some good, great, and thank yous on F, J, K, L, and M. Yes, those for all the good job our staff is doing and moving some of our stuff, over to the new building and that new firehouse that we're going to build there in your district, buddy.
Yes, sir. District 2, yes. Firehouse 3. Okay, any more questions? If not, any questions from the public on the consent calendar? If there are no questions on the consent calendar, what's your pleasure, board?
Move to approve.
I'll second. Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Next order of business, the general calendar, public session, item A.
6A, Human Resources Department, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution appointing Elba Gomez as Madera County's Director of Human Resources effective February 18, 2020.
I put the important people up front. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Michelle May with Human Resources. So this resolution, this request, the recommended action before you today is to, sorry, I know there's a lot of activity. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay. It's distracting. That's okay.
That's okay. So the resolution before you today is to recommend your approval to appoint a Human Resources Director, Elba Gomez. In October of last year, your board authorized reorganization of administration, which included the creation of the Human Resources Department as a standalone department. And so with that, a recruitment was conducted and has been completed. And I know that Elba is probably anxious to say lots of things, but anyway, if you have any questions, of course, I'm here to answer them.
No questions?
No. You
We
can
already
start
asked.
today if you want to.
Welcome, Elba.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Anything you'd like to say?
I didn't prepare a speech, so I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
My husband was going to come today, but he couldn't get the day off, so he's very excited for me to take this opportunity. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's coming back to where I grew up in Madera. Starting here in elementary school, and it's an awesome opportunity to be able to come and work with all of you. So I really appreciate the opportunity to work with all of you, and hopefully keep that engine going, as you said earlier. So I'm excited to work. I have all this energy to get started, so I'm looking forward to the being here on the 18th. Thank you.
Your husband's on board too, huh?
Yes.
Let's give her a round of applause. Welcome aboard. Well, you have some very capable people in your department, and they've kept this big ship moving forward, and very important components. They're so important to us, and you're at the helm now, and so we're looking forward to getting
Good
you
things.
going. Thank you. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve.
Is there
Yeah,
any comment
second.
from the public?
Second.
Any comment from the public on this item? No comment. We have a motion second. Let's vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
I think I'll change it to no because I don't want it all unanimous, so she thinks she's not.
I'm gonna love working with you.
You'll be in your office
She's
a lot.
already gonna slap my hand. I can see it already.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Very important office, Human Resources.
Thank you, Michelle, for all your great work too, and as
Yeah.
interim, you've done a great job. So I think you got a good team you put together here now.
Michelle, thank you for all you've done in the interim and what you continue to do. And I know that Elba's going to find a great support in you, and you just have done a fantastic job. I think I've told you that a few times, but it's sincere from my heart. And I say that on behalf of this board. Thank you for what you've done.
Thank you, I appreciate
Let's
that.
give her a round of applause, too.
Well, if I may, Chairman, I have to say, I'm just one person, and I think you mentioned it. We have a great team.
Yes, that's right.
We do.
Yeah, well, that's good to recognize that. Thank you.
We do.
Item 6B.
6B, Human Resources Department, consideration of approval to ratify the side letters of agreement with the professional and service units to comply with new legislation pursuant to Senate Bill 866 and Senate Bill 1085.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the board, Michelle May again with Human Resources. So this item comes to you after meeting with the professional and service bargaining units, which are represented by SEIU. There were some legislative changes that took effect in 2018 that have to do with membership for union dues and membership fees for the bargaining unit members, new employee orientation parameters, and then also the ability for the unions to have their employees who are interested in stewardship and union activity, leadership roles, to request leaves of absence from the employer. So we met with the bargaining unit and we have entered into a tentative agreement, and the side letters are presented for your consideration. And essentially, probably the biggest factor with these side letters is the ability for the employees to be able to request through the union to take leaves of absence that would be paid leaves of absence. However, it's important that these side letters incorporate the ability for the county to get refunded or reimbursed for all of the costs for those individual employees to be out on leave. So that'd be salary and benefits. And so I'm here if you have any questions, of course, but.
Questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Comments from the public? None? We'll bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Motion made and second.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yeah.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
All right.
Thank you.
6C.
Oh, we got another
6C,
one.
Human
Jeez.
Resources Department, discussion and consideration of approval to amend the classification plan for the Department of Human Resources as follows. Amend the classification plan by adding the classifications of Human Resources Analyst 1-2 and Senior Human Resources Analyst, formerly titled Personnel Analyst 1-2 and Senior Personnel Analyst. Amend the Fair Labor Standards Act and direct the Department of Human Resources to amend the position allocations for Org Key 00800.
Thank you again, Michelle May. So this particular item kind of goes hand in hand with the reorganization of the department to create human resources. So this particular item does not add any additional staff. All it simply does is a couple of things. One, it reclassifies the personnel analyst series to human resources analyst to really mirror the department name and also industry standards. You see typically more human resources instead of the personnel term. And then also the other component is for the currently personnel analyst 1 level, which is our entry level, recommended to become the human resources analyst 1, would change their designation for overtime status. Currently that classification is eligible for overtime. And we took a look at the classification and the duties and the Fair Labor Standards Act requirements for determining exemptions. and made the determination that it would be more appropriately classified as exempt, which is actually consistent with the other analyst series within the county. They are also exempt from overtime. And so that is part of the recommended action here today as well. And I just did want to point out that our incoming director and I did have a conversation about this already. So
Good. Thank you. That's great.
I know you often ask, so I just wanted to make sure you were aware. We are
Communication
on
is
top.
so important. It's so important. Absolutely. Any questions from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, do we have a motion? Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for
Thank
answering
you
my
guys so
question
much.
before it was a question.
Item 6D.
6D, Public Works Department, Engineering Services Division, Oakhurst Midtown Connector Project. Discussion and consideration of entering into an amendment with Cornerstone Structural Engineering Group to increase the contract from $868,900 to $1,244,590 for additional professional engineering services for the Oakhurst Midtown Connector Project, and authorize the chairman to sign. Discussion and consideration to authorize the auditor controller to issue payments for contingencies up to 10% of the amended agreement amount per established county policy.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Amado Cal, Public Works Director. With me here, Mr. Jared Carter, our Deputy Director for Engineering Services. Also, we have the consultants here from Mark Thomas. We have representing the Cornerstone Structural Engineering Group. We have Ed Noriega and Bobby Zarminio. This is an amendment for the contract for additional professional engineering services for the project known as the Midtown Connector. And we are here for your questions.
Any questions from the board?
Yes.
Yes, Tom?
Oh, it's already up there. First of all, since Caltrans kept this environmental problem for over a year, and if we so put us a year behind, then they tell us to give it back to us. Can we bill them for any of this stuff? They're threatening to bill them anyway.
Supervisor Jared Carter, Public Works. So that's a valid question, I guess, a good question. I'm not sure I can answer that specifically. Just, obviously, I think we could discuss it with them and bring it to their attention if
Well, they
for
know
consideration.
it, they screwed up. I mean, wasn't it the girl that gave it back to us? What's hers? I'm blank, you know, the lady up at, that used to be here, now she's up at Sacramento. And she the
You're
one
talking
that-
about the District 6 Director,
Bender.
Sherry,
Miss
yeah,
Bender, yeah.
correct.
Is she the one that gave it back to us after she didn't think they should be doing that?
Yeah, Supervisor, that's correct. And we were given, I guess, approval for CEQA lead in March of 2019, once we requested that at the advice of the Director of District 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just send them a bill and
Yeah.
see what happens.
That's what I was-
We can do that.
Get legal counsel and work with you on that. I think it's not a bad idea just to emphasize the silliness of what goes on sometimes, honestly.
We will follow up with council with that and see what we can.
Actions have consequences. Okay.
I've got some more.
Go ahead,
I got a whole page here.
Go ahead.
On page 5, the first bullet point, Hillview Water, the last sentence says, who pays on that? I'm trying to find it here. I got it pulled up here. On the contract. Do you know what that is? I can't find the damn thing right now. It's Hillview Water when they,
I have the page here. I'm not sure exactly what you want.
Fourth paragraph on page 5, is that what you're referring to, Supervisor? With the construction of the Oakhurst Midtown Connector, Hillview Water Company desires to install. a new water main.
Yeah, I just wondering why. Gosh, man, it's trouble from last night to today. We'll go back to that one.
Okay.
The other thing is that, you know, on our paper and then on the board letter, it says that the project's $1,244,590, and then they want to, they want to increase it from 868 to $900,000 to $1,244,590. Well, you subtract that, and it comes out to $375,690. But you say in the backup that it's $293,700. And on page 14 on the chart, where you say on this cover letter 68868, it's actually 950890.
Correct.
So why is that difference?
That's a very good question, and I'm ready to answer that because I know you are a mathematician and you check those numbers. So the explanation behind that is the actual contract amount, the last amendment or the previous contract amount was approved at the $868,900. With the contract approvals that we bring to the board, we request the 10% contingency allowance so that we can, if we need to expend more and things come up, we can do that without having to come back to the board and do a complete amendment.
We do that to all of them. Right?
Correct. So the reality is that $950,000 that you're mentioning is actually what has been expended, and that includes the original
10%?
contract amount plus that 10% contingency.
Okay. Well, I didn't see that in there where it said that.
Yeah, and I realize that, and I apologize for that. That is something that we could have clarified a little bit better in the board letter. So yes, the reality is the total increase between the two base contract amounts is the $375,000. However, a portion of that has already been used or expended under the contingency of the original contract. So, I guess the net difference of that is the $293,700.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, because I first added up, it said that 375, and then I go dig deeper, and it's 293. I'm thinking, what in the heck's going on now? And I was hoping you had an answer. And then on page 33, the North Star Engineering, it says they will charge 1.5% on Saturdays and double time on weekends, on Sundays, I mean. Why are we paying those guys to work on the weekend?
Yeah.
So I think typically, and I may have our consultant answer that more specifically, but typically when you have employees who work on weekends or holidays and those sorts of days, you have to pay them time and a half.
Well, I agree.
That's labor.
But why are we doing a contract and have that on there? I mean, they got a contract to do so much money, and then they want to.
I think it's not to say that we are going to pay them. It's just to give them the ability to charge that if that is a need in the contract.
We're not doing that.
No, I don't think we are.
So, okay, and that's North Star. And then it also says on that same contract that's good to December 31st, 2019. January 1st, 2020 is subject to adjustment. Now, are they going to change this after we approve this today?
You're talking for the North Star?
Yeah.
I think their work's actually already done, so I don't know that there's anything that's going to carry over into this 2020 year anyways.
Are they going to charge us more?
I
don't
expect
I don't know.
that,
That's
no.
what they put in. That's what they got in the contract. So I don't. Then on task C, let's see, what page is that on? Page 14 maybe. Detailed chart. No, that's not it. I don't know. It's the task C. It's page 14. I'm sorry. It says roundabout on 427 Indian Spring Road. Is that, are they just talking about that, or what? What is that about?
Yeah, so in the initial contract, what we were required to do, and I've kind of shared this before, is we're required to evaluate roundabouts at intersections now, and so initially that was the task, was to evaluate the roundabout. Obviously, I think you know that we are not putting a roundabout there, we are putting a traffic signal.
I didn't think so either, but they also charge us a lot of money to do that evaluation. Do we have to do that by state law?
It is a requirement, yes.
God, I think it was, I didn't look it up here, $67,000 something. I mean.
Well, I think that I'll clarify. I think that total cost of that task item include the design of the traffic signal that is going to go there.
Okay.
The task, I guess the name of the task is a little misleading because initially the
Oh,
task
I
was
see.
set up
So
as a roundabout
and all
analysis, correct. So
Okay.
once they did that analysis, and I don't know the exact cost of that, I don't think it was all that expensive, but that led to the design of the traffic signal, so that's incorporated into that item.
It's there to help you sell it in eastern Madera County, Tom.
Yeah, I go tell them
You
that.
have a roundabout task.
I know. And on page 14, the task B, the new intersection 41 and Midtown connection, what they call it, that's that extra money. It went from 170,700 to 194,200. I just thought that was a big jump.
Well,
Is that because
so-
of Caltrans, all their mix-ups and wanting us to do different stuff?
Correct, yeah, that's the intersection of 41 and all the work that's along 41 is included in that task B.
So it just seems like when Caltrans comes in here and takes over like that and screws us over, and then it costs us a lot more money, and doing all that designing on 41 for them, I just don't understand why we have to pay for that.
It happens time and time again.
I know, it just drives me crazy.
I'm thinking about that $9 million from the.
Screw up they did on 1299, I know, same thing. We're still paying on that.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
That's not even 1,000 cuts, that's $9 million.
Yeah.
It's another-
Well, it almost killed the passing lanes on 41, because they were gonna take that money and balance their books, but stick it to us, so, but we raised enough heck, and I think, Rob, you went to Sacramento on that one, saved it for us, that project for us. So, but I think we really should bill them for that year of delay and stuff they did to us, because they did admit they were wrong on that, so.
We'll work on that.
Okay.
Any questions from the public? If not, we'll bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve, finally.
Motion is
A year and
made.
a half later than it should have
Second.
been.
Motion made and second.
And this is for the roundabout?
Thanks a lot, son.
Let's vote.
We
Call
got
for
that
the-
done.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Clarify that
you,
was
guys.
not for a new roundabout. Just
Finish out this part of the agenda before we go back into closed session, but pending legislation, is there any?
I just wanted to, say that I just, I know since Darren's taken over, it's kind of been mixed up, but we got to stay on top of the Mobile County contract, and we got to see what's going on in enterprise zones and stuff. I know we hired somebody. I just want to make sure that you keep us involved, or me anyway. I don't know if they want to, but I really do. Okay?
Okay. No pending legislation, supervisor and staff reports. Supervisor, none from Max. Brett?
Sorry for missing the last meeting. My foot's much better now.
Yeah, we announced it twice that you were out for surgery, so. we
That's
missed
a
it.
HIPAA violation.
But he didn't say what kind of surgery. But he was very somber and said it was very serious. Yeah.
It was.
They fixed the better part of your foot. Let's see. I attended something, but go ahead, Supervisor Poitras.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Thursday, I was in Sacramento. I attended the CTC hearing that was part of the STIP process, and in basically to support the new ITIP plan that is going to be, or the revised ITIP plan is going to be voted on in March. And it looks like everything's lined up so that we can retain our funding for the planning of the widening of Highway 99 from 12 to 7. But it's important to remind everybody that there is a Highway 99 plan that was devised back in '05. It was a partnership between Caltrans and all of the MPOs in the valley. And so it's there for the widening all the way from Stockton through Kern County. It was interesting hearing from Caltrans. They said that the comments in regards to the initial ITIP, they've never seen more comments. And surprise, surprise, he said that normally there's, like 4 or 5 different comments. Well, this time there was like 130, and the file was bigger than one of the other project files that they had. They've never seen anything like that. So great job, San Joaquin Valley, fighting that, the initial plan that was just awful. I also mentioned that better communication up front would have avoided a lot of wasted time and effort, and kind of drove that home a little bit. And so I think, again, they've heard us loud and clear, and it was a great effort from the entire San Joaquin Valley, and it shows CAUSTA and the new Secretary of Transportation that he needs to think a little bit differently when it comes to providing or making changes to transportation plans in the San Joaquin Valley.
The San Joaquin Valley Piggy Bank is closed that they've been raiding for years. And
Right.
Thank you, Rob, for really taking the lead on that.
Thank you.
And,
Absolutely.
going to all the meetings and making sure that that voice was heard loud and clear, sometimes with some trademark Poitras snark, which is always fun to hear.
On TV,
I love
on
the
the
one-
radio, in the paper.
I love the one in Modesto that was landmark, and the re-education.
yes.
That was perfect.
Right.
I love that one. But Supervisor Poitras represented us very well in this fight, and thank you for that. Thank you. Supervisor Wheeler.
Huh?
Anything to report?
I already did.
Okay.
Oh, I know, I just wanted to.
No, you already said you already did.
I changed my mind. I just want to wish you and Max, your leg gets better and your foot gets better. That's all I want to say, so.
Thank you.
You know,
Yeah.
I miss when you guys are hurting, so I've been there, so I know what it feels like, so.
I attended the MCTC to represent for
Thank you.
Brett, and yeah, happy to do it. And we've been working on some stuff for the county that in the coming weeks are going to really, it's going to be a really nice.
It's got a lot of exciting projects going.
A lot of exciting projects going. This board is really excited about the activity that's taking place to put our county on top of doing business for the people and serving the people. And that's our goal, and including bringing on very important cogs in the wheel, people who make this ship move forward. And it's going to be a good time. So, anything to report, Darren?
Nothing to report.
County Council. Go ahead.
Chairman, member of the board, my report is more of a follow-up on parliamentary type procedure in terms of moving things to the next agenda. Sometimes I might not interrupt or give my full discussion, and you probably appreciate that, but I thought, let's see if I follow up on my report. So a couple of items to add things to a future agenda, as you did last board meeting. It's simply the normal process. There's no action for whatever reason, and it goes to an agenda in the normal process through the chairman. Another is a motion to continue it to a date and time certain. Well, there's a couple of options. You don't have to. The benefit of that is, especially when there's an actual notice public hearing, because when you make a motion, you continue the item to a date and time certain, then under the law, there's no reason to open up that notice public hearing and incur that cost of noticing it again in the general newspaper of general circulation. And then also for members of the public that show up and provide that testimony, you can continue that hearing and not need them to come back and say those comments again. So either are an option, but I thought I would follow up, and both are lawful, and one has an advantage more than the other depending on what's on the agenda. No other items to report.
Yeah, either way, we did it right.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
it was done right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just that we could have.
Very good. Clerk.
Just a reminder, tomorrow is our Civics Day with our Boy Scout, and we do have an added agenda item that's new this year. We're going to have some students with the Youth Coalition. They're with the Students Working Against Tobacco, so they wanted to use this time to kind of run their mock presentation, kind of a trial run before they start doing a actual presentation
So
to
that's
the
what we'll
board.
do tomorrow here?
So tomorrow there'll be, I guess there's going to be about 3 students here that will be giving a presentation.
The thing was, when the city of Madera outlawed the smoking in the parks and vape-free zones, those students spoke first, and I did not want to speak after. They were
Yeah, no
so
kidding,
good
huh?
and so, I mean, they had their facts, they had
They've done the
the
homework.
passion, they had the backstory. They were very impressive, so I'd be excited to see them tomorrow.
And in the way of Chairman's thoughts here, I was going to save this for later, but I think I can do it now. We, each supervisor that's chaired this board has brought their own special flavor to things, and I think it's noteworthy, things that we're going to continue from each supervisor, like the on-the-road meetings that Tom instituted when he was chairman. I think they've been outstanding. They've served a great purpose in clarity and transparency. And Supervisor Frazier started the Excellence Awards, the Chairman's Excellence Awards. We're going to continue that. And I want to present something to you guys today. Daniel, go ahead and come forward. Daniel spearheaded this project for us. And we're going to be, she's doing a great job. And we're going to be giving out the awards in excellence every quarter to outstanding individuals or teams who have demonstrated that excellence. And in addition to the plaque, we'll be giving these coins that represent Madera County for this year. And I want to give each one of you one of these, and it has a little stand that goes with it. So, Tom?
Can we have a ceremony up front?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And,
cool.
this commemorates this year, so it's something that we can do each year if you like. It's part of recognizing outstanding service in the county. And the reason I'm giving each of these supervisors this coin, this is part of the Chairman's Awards in Excellence. I just want to say that I believe this board does an outstanding job. These men work hard and give of themselves and their time, and so often that goes unrecognized. As one of their colleagues, I want to say I appreciate what they sacrifice for and what their families sacrifice for to do this job. And so that's from me to you in memorial of your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a great picture of you on the backside of the coin.
You say that. It's, I had my wife going for about a half a day that I had made a coin with my image embossed on it. And she thought I was serious. And she said, you couldn't be serious. You can't be doing that. You can't do that. And I said, what? What? Don't you think it would be great? And I had her going for about a half a day thinking I had done some coin with my image on it. But anyway, she finally learned the truth. I couldn't lie to her anymore.
Danielle, thank you for vetoing that.
Yeah, very much.
It wouldn't have gone.
We
very
love him,
far.
but not that much.
Thank you, David. It's beautiful.
You're welcome.
Yeah, very much.
You'll see more of these in the future and given out to the employees that represent this county so outstanding.
Oh, you're gonna do them on the excellence? You're gonna give them those, huh?
Yes, they'll be.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
We're going to give them with the plaque that they receive, and we've kind of tailored it down, made it a little bit more specific now. It's going to be individuals and/or teams that do something special in representing, and there's already nominations we've heard coming in, so that's going to be great. And I think there are a lot of people who have demonstrated that kind of excellence in the county. We're looking
I'm
forward to
gonna
doing
put
that.
this on Facebook if you don't mind.
No problem.
I'll
Absolutely.
I'll make sure nobody knows that we didn't pay for it out of our general fund, so it's out
Yeah.
of your dollars, right?
All right, let's go back to closed session, and we'll take care of the rest of our business.
He didn't answer that question.
County Council, do we have anything to report out of closed session?
Chairman and members of the board, there is no reportable action. However, the Board of Supervisors thought it important to announce that they have provided direction to bring back a resolution on open session and are expected to have that on their agenda at the next Board of Supervisors meeting to take formal action to appoint the current Director of Community and Economic Development as the Chief of Development Services. Thank you.
Thank you. And if there's no other thing to come before this board, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.